All right, Chris, I got a couple more questions, and then we're going to let you go. I read a couple years, well, not a couple years ago, got refreshed today, but a couple years ago, you made mention of wanting to run for political office. And then I remembered after your UFC 116 win, you actually made like a little political statement for a guy named Peter Schiff. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
That's right, Peter Schiff.
So what are your aspirations right now in terms of your political future? Is that something you're still looking to get into?
Definitely. I was just talking to some people today, actually, about I've kicked around the idea of maybe running for a state representative or state senator here in the state of Indiana, just because I see, about a couple of years ago, like you said, I got into a little bit more into politics and just kind of researching a lot of things. And, I have 4 kids, and my concern is just I don't like the way country and state and everything is going in the direction people are going in, and I feel that I could change things a little bit, and I'm kind of the belief is I don't want to sit there and complain about people and not do anything about it. If I have a chance to try and do something, I would like to try and do that. So, I mean, if I don't try and do something, I have no right to say anything. I just shut up and take it. And I feel fighting is kind of around my area. People know who I am. I have name recognition, and what am I going to do with that? Am I just going to sit here and do nothing with it, or if I can try, better my state, I'm going to try and do that. So that's my thought right now. I'm not really sure exactly when. I'm still talking to some people about it and seeing what all that entails and what time commitment and whatnot. But I would definitely be very interested in doing that at some point.
So it sounds like politics is something you're very passionate about. So I want to get your thoughts on the potential government shutdown that's going to take place midnight on Friday, I believe, if, they don't come to a resolution. Yeah. What's your opinion on their handling of this whole situation?
To me, it's so unbelievably ridiculous, both sides. I mean, if anybody really looks into this, we are in such bad shape right now. There's no, with what we're doing fiscally, the deficits are getting so great. I mean, we're never going to be able to pay this off. The inflation is just getting crazy. The Fed's buying all our bonds. I mean, we have no money, and to have a $1.6 trillion deficit for the next year, it's crazy. Now the Republicans make this big statement about, we're fighting for this $80 billion. You know what? $80 billion is nothing in the big picture. You could cut $100 billion. $500 billion, it would be nothing. We'd still have over $1 trillion in debt this year, so coming up. So you're not going to get anything until you start touching the things you can't talk about, the military, Social Security, Medicaid. You have to touch those things, and if you don't, this all means nothing. So the Republicans are going to shut down the government over nothing. The Democrats are going to let it get shut down over a few dollars. It means nothing in the big picture. It's all political. We won or we lost. It means nothing. I don't even know what does it matter if they get rid of $100 billion. It means nothing. So I'm sick of them. I'm not really very high on Republicans or Democrats right now. Just all posturing, and I don't like the politics of politics. I like what they can do, but I don't like just fighting for nothing. So that's a long answer for probably a short question you wanted.
No, that's perfectly fine, man. It's nice when we get that kind of discussion with fighters. You don't typically get to talk about politics with fighters unless, you're talking to someone like Chael Sonnen or, some of that other guys.
Yeah, well, I got my Chael's I like some of his thoughts on what he has, politically. So I'm kind of more along the lines of him, I would think. I don't know. Maybe he might have listened to what I just said. Chris is kind of out there. I don't know.
Now, speaking of Chael real quick, since we kind of touched on him for a second, I also saw on your old Facebook that you used to be a real estate investor. And I think that's something that Chael had dabbled in. So did you ever get out of that, or did you get kind of consumed by the I guess, big plummet that
I wasn't involved in that. I mean, the only thing I do is I've bought a couple, and got a rental property here. I got another house I bought as an investment for sale. I've just been more along that line, just buying a little bit for stuff and selling. I was never like realtor or anything like that. So, but no, I'm very conservative with my with finances, and luckily I've been studying this, Austrian economics, and know that I can kind of recognize a little bit when bubbles are happening. I think, at least I think I can. So, anytime something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and when it's pretty obvious when the housing market's going up, 20% a year for many years, that's just unsustainable. And I tried to kind of avoid that as much as possible. I mean, I was always looking for good deals, and I found a couple, and I got a couple, but I was never really, I had some buddies who were buying 5 houses and then trying to sell them all, and of course, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar and had a bunch of houses they couldn't sell, and, bad news. So I was fortunate enough to avoid that whole catastrophe.
Yeah, that's a good thing that you got to avoid it, and I don't want to get into too much of that. We got to let you go, but, just speaking about the housing industry, the housing side of the world right now, it sounds like I've heard that the feds are going to allow the adjustable mortgage rates to come back up, and that's just going to be horrible, man, because then we're going to get into the same problem that got us into all this mess, these past couple of years.
To be honest, it's bad. I mean, we're in like a catch-22 right now. They keep talking about, what we need to do, in my opinion, we need to raise interest rates because, nobody can invest any money because you get no return on it. But then if you raise interest rates, you destroy any type of growth or, economically can't do that right now. I mean, it's going to cripple people. So, I mean, there's nowhere to really go. I'd like to see what they're going to try to do. There's no good way out of it. They've pinned themselves into a corner. We're just going to have to grin and bear it for a long time. People talk about this recovery. Trust me, it ain't happening. Not for a while.
All right, Chris. Well, I think I'm about all done with talking about all things political. So before we let you go, man.
I was going to say, I can go on all day about this.